Hello, welcome back to this week's new video. Today's a naked hair wash day, don't talk to me. In this video, it started out being a no laptop for a week to catch up on my Goodreads goals. I was limiting it to maybe one episode with my boyfriend Coda. Otherwise, no laptop, no watching anything. That was the most imperative point because I still needed to like edit and do work and stuff like that. Then I also kind of started to create little goals of how much I wanted to read in a day, depending on how quickly I wanted to finish the book, to kind of motivate me into achieving those goals and reading more. I hope you enjoy. I did have some mic issues at some point, so I had to delete a couple clips. You might see me looking like this again later. So I'm starting with my first book of the week, and it's Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Ideally, if I don't have any other entertainment, I would like to finish this between 2 to 3 days. I feel like 2 is kind of hard. I do have lunch plans today, so I have 2 commutes, I guess. I'm gonna do the math for how much it would be to read between 2 to 3 days, and hopefully it gives me something to aim for. I actually got to read so much today because I read on my way to work, I read on my way to lunch with my friends, and I also got to read on my commute home, which is very, very rare. I'm 230 plus pages into this book. My max number of pages in my reading tracker in my bullet journal is 250 pages, so I would like to hit that before I go to bed. So I've definitely hit my goal of reading a third of this for today. I've read over that. For the next 2/3, I'm almost reaching that point. I don't think I'll quite reach that, which is fine because it means that I will be finishing this book on time. I'm very, very excited. I don't think I will be reading this much tomorrow, but we'll see with how much I can read before I head off to work and whatnot. But I'm already feeling like so good about this. I'm gonna just read the last little bit, hit at least 250 pages before I go to sleep. Good morning. Yesterday I read about 260 pages of this, which means that I reached my goal, and it means that I have about 30% of the book left. And so I did the math for this and split it in half because I know I'm not going to be able to read as much today. The page count for today is going to be about 71 pages, I think, and I've already read about 30 of those, so I could encroach a little bit over. I think setting goals like this and telling myself I need to reach this makes it a lot easier to read. I'm sure if I was also watching stuff on my laptop, it would also be more difficult because I am deep into Sex and the City. I'm almost into the 6th season actually, and I really, really want to binge it. Coda and I have also started season 2 of The Mole on Netflix, so I told him that because I don't want to take time away from us also, that if we watch a show, it's going to be only one episode of something. We got to meet Brianna and Jacob from the last book in this, and I realized that Emma and her friend Maddie are renting a cabin from Neil, who was in the first book, Part of Your World. He was the awful ex. Brianna and Jacob come over to help Justin because Emma is sick and she's like unable to help herself. She's living on an island in Minnesota. Neil is like kind of doing better in this book. He's going to therapy. He's really trying to become a better person. So I don't know if I like that story arc or not. Like, it was kind of easier for him to just kind of be this asshole. And it made it even weirder because Brianna and Jacob come in to this book. They tell Emma like, oh, who owns this? Oh, Neil, he's an asshole, you should watch out for him. What Emma's dealing with is a toxic mother. She neglected Emma growing up. She was really, really sick, and it was kind of nice for her because as a nurse, she spends her days taking care of people. Because she was neglected by her mom, she never allowed anyone to come close enough to her to allow them to take care of her. It wasn't until Justin, I guess, where she was also just felt really, really weak and was unable to do anything or to defend, like keep up those barriers around her heart, that Justin came and saved the day. Kind of in a ridiculous way. I think typically I would have kind of liked that, but again, huge grain of salt with this one. I have read the pages that I needed to for today. So I think that actually I can finish this book on my commute, which is perfect also because this book is actually due at the library tomorrow. So I have about 72 pages left to read. If I don't fall asleep on the train, that should definitely be doable. Good morning. I'm dressed and ready to go to the gym actually, but I do have some time before I wake up Coda to go together. I did finish reading Abby Jimenez's Just for the Summer. As I said in my last video, this book is 3.5 stars. If you want to see more of my thoughts on this, just watch that. This brings my total to 418 pages for 2 days because it's now Wednesday. I do have a new book here that I want to start reading, but I'm feeling really good because I finished this like ahead of schedule. I didn't get to do any reading when I came home after work yesterday. Coda and I always have this routine that we do of doing like Connections, Wordle, all of those New York Times games. We ended up watching an episode and a half of them all. It's because Coda wanted to find out like who was leaving and the results of who bet this much money for the exemption card or something. The next book I decided is going to be The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, so I'm a little bit surprised that it's taking me this long to read it, but this year I've been kind of slow in my reading. Reason why I'm doing this also is because I'm like 8 books behind on my Goodreads goal. I'm like seriously considering lowering my goal to just a straight 100 or like 120 or something, so it's like 10 books a month. So this is a historical fiction novel, as Marjan Kamali does. I really enjoyed the first book I read by her, which is The Stationery Shop. So this one is following 2 young women who met each other in childhood. One of them was quite rich and the other was not. Ellie is the one who lived in comfort, but after her father's death, she and her mother were forced to downsize a lot. On her first day of her new school, meets Homa, who really takes her in. They become best friends and have these ambitions to become Lion Women. But then Ellie and her mom have the opportunity to re-enter that world of riches and grand comfort. And so they take it and she leaves Homa and they lose contact. Homa ends up reappearing in Ellie's privileged world years later, and together it's like a coming of age story that are pursuing their goals during political turmoil in Iran in the 1950s, which is when it's taking place. It is dual POV. I think it's also like dual timeline. I did take the liberty of splitting this up into 3 days worth of reading, roughly like 108 pages. If I read more, obviously that's great. If I read less, I don't really want to talk about it, but let's get into reading right now. I came back from the gym and I read like 30-ish pages, I want to say, while on the treadmill. I would say it's a little bit slower than my usual pace just because I'm also walking, but it felt nice. I feel like time went by a little bit faster. I came back, showered, and then disclaimer, full transparency, used Wi-Fi on my laptop because I got 17 tickets for their world tour. I'm a little bit sad that Jonghang and June aren't going to be there, but I have seen them all on tour before, but I'm glad I got tickets. So if you're going, see you there. I've been using my laptop to update my Goodreads because I don't like using the app, although Storygraph I do use on the app. So I have not been watching anything though except on Coda's laptop, and I have made sure to limit my TV watching time. So I have about 20 pages left of my goal for today of The Stationery Shop, and it's going well. I'm up to the part where Homa and Ellie have reunited, but Ellie has a little bit of mixed feelings about it. It seems like she's changed and kind of grown up in like that teenager way where you think you're the oldest and you're so wise and you're like so much better than all the younger people, whereas Homa kind of still has this childlike excitement and curiosity and bubbliness within her. I think they're about 17 at the moment. So Ellie is now back into the riches. They haven't seen each other in about 10 years. I really do not like Ellie's mom. She is such a snooty little bitch. She literally went down into poverty and still looked down on these people that she was basically at the same level as. She always thought herself to be better than everybody else there, and she wasn't working at all. Their uncle that she was disgusted by was like fully taking care of them, even though she like really hated him. So I don't really like the manner in which they came back up into being like rich and having money, because it makes the mom seem so gross and like sneaky. I don't like her. She's so mean to Homa and her family, even though they have given Ellie so much and like so much to look forward to be grateful for after her father's death. Ellie is kind of like catching up with Homa right now and figuring out what they've missed out on. Homa fully is like, oh, you're still my best friend, I'm so glad to see you. But Ellie has created a status. She has a whole new status in high school where she is like the beautiful girl, one of the most popular girls. She has everything. She's so gorgeous. And Homa's the new girl in class and is embarrassing her a little bit. So I'm a little bit nervous for Homa because I feel like I see her getting hurt. The first chapter did show like all the way in 1981 where Ellie's living in the States and has received a letter from Ellie, and they're like, I don't like how things ended, but I really need to talk to you. And I'm currently in 1960. I've reached my goal for today, which is wonderful because I do need to do a deep clean of the house. If you've watched my other vlogs, you would know that I was away for a month cat sitting, and I would pop by every now and again to do laundry, but I do need to do like full clean. I'm doing laundry right now, so I'm gonna fold that before I get into dinner. Hopefully I can read more during dinner because this will be my only form of entertainment. Right now it seems like Homa and Ellie are in a good place. Like I said, I'm only 20 pages further into the book than previously, but it's looking good. Like I'm really nervous about what could possibly be the big breakup, because this is like your dream, right, of like reuniting with the childhood friend that you lost touch with. Over the weekend I got to like reunite with a bunch of these kids that I haven't seen in over 10 years, and it was really nice. Kind of felt like nothing had changed. There was so much to catch up on, but it just felt comfortable, you know? And I feel like that's who Homa is for Ellie, but it's hard because Ellie's family, or her mother at least, disapproves of Homa so much still, and even more with their time apart, which is so frustrating. Homa is about to meet the guy that Ellie likes, Merdad. They're hiking and they're meeting at this tea house. With it being the 1960s now, the country is shifting politically. Homa's family is communist, or at least her father was, and so is Homa. She is so determined to change the laws in Iran and make them better and safer for women in the country. Ellie just kind of wants to go get a degree because the guy that she likes wants to be with an educated woman. That's it. She like is just focused on getting married because that's all her mother told her that she needs to do. Essentially, that's like what her life goal is. Ellie has these dreams. She doesn't want to get married. She wants to become a judge. She wants to learn the laws and change the world. They're so different. I spent the morning journaling because I hadn't in a bit, and it was nice to kind of just get things off of my mind. And I've also been reading. I've been reading more of The Lion Women of Tehran. I'm now up to part 4, I think is where I passed through. It's now the 80s. Ellie's getting ready to move to New York for her husband's work. Oh, it's part 5, which is where the book originally started. She holds a lot of guilt, like especially in her wedding. She still thinks about Homa. Homa had a huge part of her life, left a huge impression on her, and the way that they lost touch was also like a really big deal and really difficult thing. I can totally understand this too, because there are childhood friends that I have lost touch with that I still wonder about where they are. The way that we lost touch is not even remotely similar to Ellie and Homa, but I understand that emotion of like going through big things in life and wondering, wow, I wish I could have told this person. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what accomplishments I would have celebrated for them. That feeling I feel like a lot of people could also relate to. I don't have much left. I'm thinking like 30% or something. So far, I am really liking this. With Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, this is a book that I've had on my TBR shelf for a long time. I actually found this in my little free library a couple years ago. I did watch the movie first just because I found that reading the book and then watching the movie kind of ruins the movie for me. And I do really love Daisy Edgar Jones. This is taking place along the North Carolina coast. Kaya is the marsh girl. She's from this uneducated, poor family. She lives really far away from like the civilized, normal townspeople. She's seen as like this dirty girl. In the late 60s, the star of the town, the most handsome jock boy, is found dead. This is Chase Andrews, and Kaya, marsh girl, is the main suspect. It's like this coming of age story. Like I said, I only read 40 pages. I think I'll be able to read more of it over Saturday and Sunday because I have like plans where I don't think I could fit a book, so I would like to read more of that. I don't see myself finishing it during this vlog just because I probably will be busy over the weekend, and like I said, I want to prioritize this one if I do finish one. It'd be great to finish it today. I think I would like to read more, but I think it's kind of a long stretch. Ooh, but let me check in to see my page count over Monday to Thursday. It looks like I've read 640 pages so far, which I feel pretty good about because although in my previous reading vlogs when I like originally started doing booktube videos I read a lot more, it's definitely more than I've been reading in a week lately, especially this year, so I'm counting that as a win. Hi, editing me again. This is me pretending that this is the last day of the vlog. As I said in the intro, I ran into some mic issues, so I had to delete some clips from the other days, which is why I don't have a clip for every single day of the week, but I'm here to do the wrap up. I wasn't able to finish Where the Crawdads Sing, but I am done with it now, so I can talk about it here as well. I'm really sad because I really wanted to show you the real time me of raving about this book when I finished it. The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali was my first 5-star read in August since March. I'm not having a really great reading month, or reading year actually, and this was really pulling it for me. I didn't expect it at all. I loved it in a really different way than Stationery Shop because this was about two women and their friendship over the decades, and it really made me rethink my friendships and the bonds that I have created with people over the years, and it really just shows you the resilience of women. It made me appreciate the resilience of women so much more. Women are so amazing, and I truly loved this thought-provoking story that brought it right back into present time to show you just how relevant it is to fight for what it is that you believe in and to be vocal about it, and I loved it. 5 motherfucking stars. Okay. Also, because over the weekend, as I said, I had plans in which I was carrying a little bag and I didn't have a book, I was reading the ebook of Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Now I did have some thoughts about this one, and the ebook like really wasn't doing it for me. I was getting really bored. I would fall asleep on the train. I had read things and not comprehended them, so I almost DNF'd it, but decided to just return the ebook and focus on the physical book since I had that. I also did read a ebook for a graphic novel called Princess Ever After by Kay O'Neill. I think I gave it like 3 stars, and then I continued this on for a couple more days just because it was so slow going. I feel like this book was so overhyped. I don't know why people like this so much. I did like the movie more. I gave this one 3.5 stars, and it brought up my total for no laptop for the week to 961 pages, which is pretty good. I'm glad because I used to read like over 1,000 pages. It was reaching that. The only thing is I'm still behind on my Goodreads goal. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.